Ladies and gentlemen, we are living in a glorious time. A time where AAA games are getting worse. What? Glorious? This is horrible. How could you say such a thing? Well, I have a very different perspective than I think everyone else that tackles this specific problem. As someone that has been dying and waiting for an era of the rise of indie games, the rise of indie animation, this is a revolution, and it is televised, god damn it. And until AAA games are willing to actually sit down and not be conceited pieces of shit, they will fail, and it's glorious. AAA games are not getting worse completely. You got fucking Elden Ring killing it because there's passion behind that craft. So we're jumping into this video by the Act Man, my homie, my guy. Love this dude. All right, let's get into it. Today we're gonna be talking about the deserved downfall of AAA games, and honestly, I think that I'm going to have a slightly different take than the other people covering this because I see it with hope. And instead of everyone that's looking at this with like a traumatic mindset, the world is falling apart, I look at this with hope.
Wow, this new Star Wars Outlaws game looks pretty great.
That's pretty good.
Oh!
You know what? Let's check out the official website and see if we can learn more about them. Good Lord, what is happening in there?
A season pass! Bro, these greedy motherfuckers. They don't understand. They literally don't understand. Bro, dude, this is... No! Star Wars with the freaking money. You got, god damn it, bro. Every single company, Sony, absolutely putting their dick in their own ass with the Helldiver situation. You got freaking Rise of Tarkov, Rise of the Scam of Tarkov, Rise of My Erection making fun of the corrupt AAA studio, making Tarkov cost billions of dollars. These losers, they want money. They just want money, and they don't care about you. They believe their IP is worth something, and that's why indie games are so powerful, goddammit. All right, let's go.
Pre-order. Get 3 days early access. Pre-order. You want to pre-order the season's pass and get 3 days?
Yeah, the best part about these video games is the fact that you can pre-order a lobotomy for when your pre-order doesn't actually cover all the content. My favorite part about these situations are when you pay $30 for a pre-order, and then when it comes out, it's like, so actually it's gonna be $250.
Days early access pre-order.
Wait, he doesn't talk about Helldivers in this video? Oh my god.
That's four pre-orders on one screen.
That's a lot of pre-orders. Oh my god, dude. It's all pre-orders. Bro, the whole gaming industry has just become gimme money. Oh my god.
Case Journey with 2 upcoming DLCs? You want to play the exclusive Jabba's Fuckhouse? Pre-order. Unlock exclusive cosmetic pre-order. Are you fucking pre-ordering yet? You know what's funny?
I know it's funny. The deserved downfall of the goddamn franchises. Oh yeah. You know what's funny? The fact that Sony backed off, and when they fucking did their PlayStation cockfuckery with the Helldivers, they absolutely took such a massive L and they had to walk back. Bro, y'all are hating the wrong things here.
If you go to the Arrowhead Games website and just look at it.
All right.
There's something special about an Arrowhead game. Games should challenge the creativity of the individuals who play them.
Real true,
We want our games to help forge friendships.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And look at that. Not even an advertisement for the Super Citizen Edition.
Oh no, this did not age well at all! He's looking at Helldivers 2 and he's like, finally, a game that cares. A game that truly cares. Anyway, this smells like, what's that smell? Is that bad milk? Is that expired milk I can smell? Bro, as a stan of democracy, I think it's time to stop making believe we live in a democracy.
I think this is a great way to illustrate what AAA gaming has become and what indie gaming has evolved into.
Dude, no. It just makes me so sad. This whole video is gonna be a dichotomy between indie gaming and they're gonna keep complimenting fucking Helldivers. No.
Difference in priorities is clear, and you might assume, Actman, that's just typical Ubisoft greed and shenanigans.
Yeah.
But you're wrong.
No!
It's worse than that.
Oh, really? It's worse than just greed and shenanigans? I love how he's saying it like it's a bad thing. Meanwhile, for me, every time they, one of these big games, so listen, I don't play a lot of the big AAA games. I only play games that like I genuinely love. So whenever you got like a AAA game absolutely shoot itself in the foot and everyone's crying, I'm like, oh no, that's terrible! Secretly in the back, I'm like literally punching the air because I am here for the fucking indie game renaissance, baby. I am here for the renaissance of actual masterpieces. dog. That is what I am here for.
What Ubisoft is doing with Star Wars Outlaws is symptomatic of a much greater issue plaguing all of AAA gaming.
All right.
Recently, Ubisoft dropped a story trailer for Outlaws. I watched it, and I felt...
Nothing! You felt nothing! You felt like a lobotomized twit that had no enjoyment whatsoever, didn't even get your interest piqued because everyone thinks it's about flashiness and not about story.
Apathy.
All right, there we go. Yes! That's it, baby! There's nothing to feel about any of these games. It's like they completely optimize everything except for your emotions.
As you know,
apathy is death.
Oh, damn.
the gameplay reveal for Outlaws looked solid, but now I'm skeptical.
Oh.
Maybe it was the boring writing, the generic presentation, or the fact that they're directing people towards the $120 version of the game.
$120 version of the game. Bro, why are games getting so expensive, bro?
Instead of the standard version.
Dude, let me ask you a question. For those of you that are familiar with modern video games, what video game gave you more enjoyment? Was it, I don't know, the $80 Pokemon Scarlet and Violet with all its bugs and all that shit? Or was it the free-to-play, indie-created Poke-Rogue browser game with 200 levels? All right, well, which did you enjoy more? Just asking for my own personal question, but which did you like better?
Hello, I like money.
Still, I don't remember the last time I felt indifferent to a new Star Wars game. On the flip side, one of my buddies sent me a trailer for a game called Kingmakers.
Ooh.
I've never heard of this franchise.
Dude, Kingmakers, Oompaville was telling me about that. He said that he really liked it. Okay, all right, never heard of it.
Nor the studio behind it, but let's check it out.
All right.
What the fuck is this?
Dude, someone on Twitter gonna be like, oh, you like Kingmakers? Well, that must mean you believe in genocide.
Oh my god!
It's beautiful.
There's a fucking Chevy truck in the... Oh, we're using shotguns? How can the engine handle this many guys on screen? This is like Mountain Blade plus Dynasty Warriors with time travel? Grenades? Oh my god, and they have RTS mechanics? No shot. It can't get any crazy. And helicopters too?
Dude, what the fuck is this game? Bro, this is just vehicular manslaughter simulator. It's like, bro, this is just America Sim.
Here's the question of the day. Why,
Alright.
as a huge Star Wars fan, am I more excited for this and not this? Well, the answer is obvious. It's
You didn't have a lobotomy yet.
Ubisoft. But like I said, AAA gaming has been in decline for some time.
All right, baby.
Meanwhile, indie games have become a spawning pool for creativity and
Indie games are where it's all at. I feel like the AAA gaming industry is very much going through their Disney downfall phase, where instead of actually trying to do anything creative or new, they realize that they can actually just make money by completely just reskinning famous IPs again and again and again. Why worry about making a new goddamn movie when you could make Kung Fu Panda 4 or Megamind 2? Why worry about working so hard and taking a risk on a new game that people may never have heard of if you could, I don't know, make Star Wars Battlefront the 17th edition?
imagination. You may have seen the plethora of AAA gaming is dead videos spring up on YouTube. Well, AAA gaming didn't just die.
We killed it, baby.
It was murdered.
Dude, I love how this man, we are on the same wavelength. God damn it. We killed it. We killed AAA gaming. You see, the reason why why Tarkov ended up getting all that hate for trying to drop down a $250 DLC, the reason why Sony actually had to backtrack their Helldivers bullshit, the reason why all this is going on is because we, the people with voices on social media, we moited the company. It's because of us little guys banding together. In the words of Helldivers, to democracy, ladies and gentlemen.
If you got that reference, welcome back to 2017 YouTube. Clearly, I'm not the only one who has felt disillusioned and apathetic towards recent AAA titles.
I didn't feel apathetic or disillusioned to Harley Quinn kills the Justice League. I was actually upset that they had the balls to make a game that bad.
But a lot of people focus on how AAA games have gotten worse. They highlight the obvious: excessive monetization,
Yep.
unfinished products being released.
Yep.
I can't masturbate to this character.
Yep.
And while these are all
These are all valid issues of equal importance.
issues worth pointing out, we need to understand why these things are happening.
the bigger picture. You see, the reality is AAA
I
games.
love how he's playing the Star Wars music in the background when we are literally the fucking rebels going up against the Empire. You realize that? Like, it's just so iconic to think about how Star Wars originated as a story about how rebels fought back against an oppressive, infinitely powerful, planet-destroying empire. That's how Star Wars started. And Star Wars became so goddamn bloated and cringe based on the video games, the Ubisoft crap, and the Disney remakes and sequels and prequels and schmequels and side stories and all that garbage. Like, they became exactly what they sought to destroy. They became the fucking Empire. Us little idiots on Tatooine are gonna throw sand in their face and start bitching.
Games have become far too safe, formulaic, predictable, and just unexciting. Perhaps
because why take a risk if you could just make the same thing you made before, reskinned, and sell lots of copies? Why does Pokemon need to change up the formula if Gen 9 Scarlet and Violet was literally the most profitable Pokemon game?
Because you're an old jaded nerd, Act-Man. No,
he can't. No, he's not. He's literally not. He's not. He likes Yu-Gi-Oh, especially the legendary Fisherman.
Possibly be it.
Am I so out of touch? No, it's the children who are wrong.
That's what we're gonna
Yeah.
explore today. The decline.
Bro, Act-Man come back being like, oh yeah? Well, I'm looks maxing with my skibbity toilet Riz right now. Huh? Take that, children.
AAA gaming and the rise of indie.
Why has AAA gaming gotten so bad?
Now, first off,
The downfall, bro. The downfall.
what the fuck does AAA actually mean? The Advanced Aardvark Association? Because I'd love to join that club.
That sounds pretty cool. No, AAA, in my mind, it's I don't think it's an actual rating per se. I think AAA games are games that are made and brainchilds of conglomerates that are too big to fail. That if this game would fail, they would still make money on the game.
No, instead you should join my public Discord server, the
Hey!
Ant Clan. Links in the pinned
Hey!
comment and in the little card up
Hey!
here. But the acronym originally referred to large budget, high profile games developed by reputable studios, released by major publishers. You know, Halo, Call of Duty, Warcraft,
Duty.
Witcher, 50 Cent Bulletproof, Cory in the House. Games that would shake the very foundation of the world. AAA games typically have large teams, expensive marketing campaigns, and copious amounts of funding.
They have the infinite money glitch. You know, that's the difference. AAA games, they just have infinite money. Yep. It cost $540 million to make Red Dead Redemption 2. Well, I can't afford that, okay? I don't got that moist critical money that could just decide, oh, hey, we decided to start an esports organization. Oh, hey, we decided to start a whole comic book brand. Oh, hey, freaking legend.
The term was taken from the credit industry and applied to gaming once the severely obese corporate fat cats realized video games weren't a joke of a business and could actually make more money than Hollywood.
Yeah, crazy.
For business moguls, AAA meant this is the safest investment you can make to get a return.
And you know the safest thing you could do? Remakes, sequels, reskins. Fucking bleed those shitters dry. Oh yeah, oh yeah.
That's not the case anymore. Today, AAA mostly indicates the aspirations and cost of a game, not how safe an investment it is. From the 80s to the 2000s, there weren't many games that were commercial failures. It was mostly like failed consoles. And that's a good video to watch. But since the 2010s, as AAA gaming budgets have grown exponentially, we've seen some big-ass flops. Marvel's Avengers, Suicide Squad.
Yeah, dude, I love it. I love it. I love the flops. Am I mean? Am I the only guy that loves the flops? God damn it. I don't know. Maybe I'm a bad guy. I need to do some introspection on this later. But when everyone's actually sad that these games failed, and I'm actually happy, does that make me a bad guy?
Anthem, Redfall, Aliens, Colonial Marines. And in the last 7 or so years, it also seems like many popular franchises have released what fans consider to be the worst entry in said franchise.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Flops equals popcorn plus vindication. Easy. Easy. God, I love it when these conceited companies flop. Dude, I'm still mad that Pokemon is succeeding. Look, I'm the biggest Pokemon fan any of you will ever find, but the fact that Pokemon still makes so much money, Pokemon money, per entry. How the fuck do you look this up? So, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet made over $600 million in sales. Dude, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet sold over 10 million copies in the first 3 days. And it was everyone's choice. It's the unanimous decision that it's one of, if not the worst game in the franchise. Okay, so we got $2 billion for Gold, Silver, Crystal. All right, we got 1.6 billion for Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald. Still some of the best games in the franchise. $2 billion for Platinum for Gen 4. $1 billion for Black and White. That's crazy. $1 billion for X and Y. Then you got $1.2 billion for Sun and Moon. You got, goddamn, Sword and Shield, $2.5 billion. And we already have Gen 9 Scarlet and Violet sitting at $1.5 billion. And it literally just came out. Like, dude, that's insane. It is insane. So what is gonna make them change? If you're not convincing them to change with your dollar, with your wallet, then why should they change? Why wouldn't Gen 10 just be the same freaking thing as everything else?
Fallout 76, Battlefield 2042, Mass Effect Andromeda. Maybe this is all just a coincidence.
But as one trained in the Force, you know that true coincidences are rare.
So what gives? Why have things changed? Well, one of the driving factors...
It became too safe. It became such a safe... it just became so safe to make money through these games that why take a risk and do something different? I don't know.
Behind the decline of AAA games is they've gotten too big. The pants do not fit anymore. For reference...
They are fat! Their bellies are huge! And fat people are more likely to get heart attacks. Excellent analogy, Act-Man! Did I take that far? No, he said that. That's what he meant.
Vanilla World of Warcraft was made by a team of about 40 people. Helldivers 2 was made by a team of 100.
Insane.
Over 9,000 people contributed to Diablo.
No, that's crazy! 9,000 people worked on Diablo 4, and none of them thought it was a bad idea to turn it into the dumpster fire that it became. Holy crap.
4.
What, 9,000?
Starfield, 7 years in development.
Uh-oh.
$200 million budget.
Oh, God. Why are they showing me Todd guy?
1,700 planets to explore.
Todd, you think maybe we could tone that number of planets down to like 30? Or maybe 10? 10 really good planets?
10 good planets! We don't need 1,700 random planets!
The gamers desire 1,700 planets.
AAA games.
Bro, this is so sad. This is so sad, dude. It's so ironic. I feel like so many people just in my audience could probably be better game developers than these guys. Ironically. Does anyone know if Nux plays Pokemon Go? I do play a bit of Pokemon Go now and again. I open it up, I catch a few Pokemon. But like, bro.
Have exploded in size, scope, and cost.
They literally learned nothing from the Tower of Babel. AAA gaming industry is just putting brick on top of brick on their war against God.
To an unprecedented level. On one hand, a larger team has the potential to create something truly incredible, revolutionary, to realize their greatest ambitions. But this relies on having a cohesive vision amongst many people and the budget and resources to make it happen.
Yeah, what's so insane is like, my favorite game is Undertale, okay? No secrets there. Undertale was made by one guy. All the music was made by one guy. The design was made by one guy. One guy put that together, and it's a masterpiece. It's a masterpiece. And you know, it doesn't look as beautiful as freaking any of these games. It doesn't look as good. But God, it's such a great story. It's such a great game. It makes you freaking feel. It's like you got Velma's writers to put together this game, and then they're like, oh, now we'll just put a $40 million budget in the game.
However, the more ambitious a project, the more money invested into it, the riskier it becomes. Immortals of Avium, a game you probably never heard of.
I never heard of it.
Was the
Heard of Raid Shadow Legends.
debut title for Ascendant Studios. And for some inexplicable reason, the game was given a budget of 125 million smackaroos.
Yo, what? The first game of a studio, you gave them that amount of smackers? Bro, huh?
Making it one of the most expensive video games ever made. What the fuck? Immortals sold poorly, and Ascendant, after releasing their first title, had to lay off almost half of their staff.
See, like, most people are like, oh, I feel so bad for this. And then you have me, Giga Chad Nuxanor. Dude, I cannot feel bad for you. This is hilarious. No offense. Obviously, if you got fired, I'm sure it sucks. But, like, come on, guys. What are you doing? It's like when Twitch fired half their staff. No, I'm not upset. Twitch is run like a dump truck without wheels, bro.
6 months later, the remaining employees were furloughed, a fancy word for maybe you have a job, IDK,
Oh,
and the company's future is uncertain. Sometimes memes can spit truth.
Oh.
I want shorter games with worse graphics made by people who are paid more to work less, and I'm not kidding.
I mean, like, that's the beauty of memes. I've been saying this for years. Everyone keeps telling me I'm a fan of memes, right? I tell this to people. My brother likes saying memes are not funny, right? Like, he'll take a meme like this and he'll be like, there's no comedy. I want shorter games with worse graphics, maybe people who are paid more to work less. I'm not kidding. There's no comedy there. Why is that funny? Like, why do you like this? And I had to explain to him that memes are, in my mind, the subconscious of the internet. This is like an incredibly hot, a topic that I'm personally really invested in. You know, I love psychology and stuff like that. This is the subconscious of the internet. It's brought to life through memes. People want... Undertale is a 6-hour-long game. The graphics are not good. It's made by people that are paid more to work less. Toby Fox made good-ass money through making Undertale. And I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. You know? Obviously, I'm not saying that bad graphics is better than good graphics, but the trade-off is the following. Like, the irony is there is truth to such a nonsensical sentence like this. This sentence makes no sense, but there's truth to it.
Immortals of Avium is a mistake that shouldn't have happened, and it's the exact type of reason why AAA publishers are sticking with familiar IPs and playing it safe. You guys excited for Call of Duty 26 to come out later this year? Woo! The bigger they are, the harder they fall. But why was Immortals, this random game, bloated with such a ridiculous budget and high...
Tax write-offs! Tax write-offs! Explain to me why Velma has an equal amount of seasons to the Owl House. Why was the Owl House canned after 3 seasons? Why did Gravity Falls only have 2 seasons? You explain that to me? You explain to me why we got more Velma and we don't get that stuff? No, you can't. No, you can't. You explain to me why Inside Job was canned halfway through season 2? Got any reasons for that one? Nope, don't think you can.
Expectations. Well, COVID-19 changed a lot of things. People bought a shitload of video games during that time, and some upper management folk adjusted their business. They saw this as an opportunity to invest. So they expanded operations, hired more employees, but of course, the video game sales caused by the pandemic didn't last.
Yeah, a lot of people I know personally, because like a lot of streamers made a lot more money during the pandemic. For example, VTubers really took off during the pandemic. People needed to find like a new online friend. That's kind of how what's it called? That's how VTubers really grew a lot. And a lot of people adjusted their financials based on the expectations they had for where their content and careers could go after the pandemic. And it was awful for them. And I'm not knocking it. It's they're obviously a bad business move. What you should have been doing during the pandemic is investing in the fucking stock market. That's what you should have been doing. Ho! I'm very, very excited for my Jewish guide to capitalism video dropping soon. Okay, that was a joke. That was a joke. No, I'm not fully sold on making that video. Let me move on.
And we're now seeing the fallout of that overexpansion.
Fallout? Is that a reference to
Fallout New Vegas?
Oh god, dude, it was a reference after all. I'm literally never gonna live through the pre-watch allegations. I'm never gonna win. I'm never gonna survive.
10,000 layoffs in 2023 and 8,000 more on the way. Over 30 studios were shut down, several games canceled.
Damn.
The hubris from corporate overlords has uprooted this industry in such terrible ways.
See, the thing is, almost all of these big AAA studios, you know, they all start off from a perspective of, I have a passion to make this game. I have a passion to create something beautiful, you know? And they did, and they make the game, and then they make another game, and then lots of money come in, then the big investors are there, and suddenly they have a team of 2,000 people coming to make the next installment of the game, and it is no longer a passion project, it's a business, you know? You see this time and time again. It's like the over-corporatization of things, just turning passion into product, and you know, that's really where it goes for a lot of people. So yeah, the fall off is obvious, because ultimately when art is the soul of the artist. You know? That's really what gives it passion. It's not the amount of coats of paint. That's why there's something about AI art that can never really replicate just the soul of an actual artist that put their mind into it, you know? And put their heart into it. And it's the same with video games. Like, a video game that you could tell is a passion project, a passion child of the creator, it's so much more beautiful in its entirety than something that was literally covered in thousands of coats of paint by the corporate overlords that just wanted to make it look nice and sell a lot of products. It's wild. That's why I'll always support the indies, bro. That's why I'll always support Hell of a Boss and The Amazing Digital Circus and stuff like that. That's just created by people with a dream, instead of created with people that were like, oh shit, I could tap into the heartbeat, emotional beats of different people and find a way to siphon money out of their rectums.
Loading teams with talented employees and a shit zillion dollars isn't some magical recipe for success. In fact, it puts the studio in a much more dire, stressful position, because if the game doesn't sell well,
then you're toast! Then you have a Disney situation on your hands.
they're fucked.
Yeah.
Blockbuster game development costs are out of control. According to a study by the CMA, a single AAA game could have development costs between $90 to $180 million.
Crazy.
Plus $50 to $150 million for marketing. That Suicide Squad game that 200 people are playing?
Bro, it's a tragedy. And I love it.
Probably had an inflated budget. This is clear.
True. Suicide Squad is lost an insane amount of money, and that's with the famous studio, and that's with the famous IP, and they still absolutely failed. You idiots.
Really unsustainable. It's like every major AAA game is some massive live or die gamble. Naturally, companies want to mitigate and avoid all the risk they can. So, again, they rely on established IPs
There
and
we go. Freaking Suicide Squad.
stick with what's familiar.
Suicide Squad lives up to its name. Oh my god, dude, stop.
Most of all, safe. So wait a minute, Ackman. You're telling me AAA games have become a greater risk, but also safer?
That's a paradox, John.
Think about it this way.
All right.
The bigger the budget, the more employees working on a game, the more copies it needs to sell. Therefore, it has to appeal to a lower common denominator. They have to simplify and dumb down something.
I think that's partially true. I think that's definitely the mindset a lot of people have, but I don't think that's completely true. I think that is a big misconception in the industry. Not just games, I think movies too. It's not just about dumbing something down to make it appeal to more people. See, like, I think there is, obviously, things that are in a niche are only gonna appeal to people in that specific niche. I think that is true. So therefore, if you dumb it down, you make it more accessible to many audiences. Look at Mr. Beast content, right? Literally the most dumbed down content on YouTube, okay? You fucking Tesla versus Steamroller is the most dumbed down video idea on the planet. 1,000 orphans get put into a meat factory, and whoever survives the longest off raw meat wins $1 billion. Literally common denominator content, you know what I'm saying? But that said, and again, Mr. Beast is the biggest YouTuber, right? Like, he does get the most views. He is the biggest YouTuber. That is true. But so I think that something dumbed down and really exquisite will actually hit the most people. But if it's dumbed down to the point that it's not exceptional and not the top of its field, realize that it has so much more competition than anything in any niche too. This, like, I think, again, I make YouTube videos for a living, okay? So, for one of my livings, is making YouTube videos. And that said, you recognize the idea of how to make videos that are optimized for a specific market. If you're gonna make general videos, then just for a broad audience, then your competition is Mr. Beast, okay? And you will never make a video better than Mr. Beast, because he put $1 million into his video, and you did not. So since you will never make a generic video better than Mr. Beast, you will never beat him in that field. However, if, let's say, your passion is Pokemon ROM hacks, okay? And you make videos on Pokemon ROM hacks, well, suddenly the bar gets lower. I don't think there is a single creator on YouTube that does Pokemon ROM hacks that has 1 million subscribers. And because of that, since your competition is much less, you could stand in that field so much more. So while the lowest common denominator is the best way to hit the largest audience, it'll only hit the largest audience if you beat all of your competition and there is so much more competition. So I do think that, yes, hitting the common denominator is important, but also doing something that is slightly more niche, but much more epic in that niche will actually kill it. Undertale is not a common denominator type game, but Undertale was massively successful. So is Hollow Knight, you know? Hollow Knight is, for all intents and purposes, it's a lower budget Souls-like game, and it absolutely killed it. Absolutely killed it, even though it doesn't have the budget of Elden Ring. It still is a masterpiece in its own right. It's not about just hitting the right audience. It's about making something great that audience that you hit will appreciate.
They cannot take risks or experiment. They have to stick with what has proven to work. This is a huge reason why.
Yeah, but the reason why they're going through this mindset is because they have no confidence that they'll actually make a good game. They're like, we have to hit the largest audience possible, and hopefully the game will be good, so it'll actually succeed, you know? But the thing is, none of this will succeed because they have no idea if they're actually making a good game or not. You saw what happened when they released Cyberpunk 2077. You know? You saw what happened when they released Suicide Squad. Like, they really thought it would succeed. They have no idea if they're making a good game or not. All they know is that superficially, it'll look good. But they don't have any passion behind what they're doing, so they don't actually have a way to know what happened.
Indie games such as Helldivers 2, Hades, Lethal Company are so...
Lethal Company, by the way, outsold Call of Duty. Do you see that? That's insane. That's crazy. But that's because they actually made a good game with passion behind it. And the big AAA companies that are just optimizing all of the fucking YouTube analytics to figure out how to make something that's generic enough for everyone, well, that'll never work. There's no passion.
Much better at innovating on a popular formula or giving us something brand new. Which would you rather play, Back 4 Blood or Deep Rock Galactic? I better see some fucking rock and stone in the comments. But that's the thing, Back 4 Blood is a cheap imitation of what inspired it, while Deep Rock Galactic is a unique twist on the whole four dumbasses trying to accomplish something co-op game.
Oh yeah, dude, four dumbasses is my favorite genre.
Deep Rock is brimming with charm, style, and this is gonna sound cheesy as fuck, but you can feel the love that when...
That's not cheesy, bro. That is literally what it's all about. Dude, you know what one of the most popular video games of all time are? I know, this is gonna shock you. You ready? Among Us. Among Us. It looks like it was freaking... It has the graphic design of a poorly baked pizza. It literally does... It's garbage. But it was amazing. I loved Among Us. You know how much money that made? Yeah, I'm telling you, that's what it's all about. You need the love, you need the passion, you need the idea. It's simple, really. If you think about it, it's just like every other invention in the world. Except somehow, gaming companies just feel like the gamers will just buy anything. And a lot of times, the gamers do just buy anything, right? The new Pokemon made $1.5 billion in a year, you know? Like, again, a lot of people do just buy anything. What's so crazy, what's so wild and so insane is the fact that making video games like making any other product, it needs a good idea, it needs to satiate some kind of need, and it needs to be better than its competition. Like literally every product in the world. If you make soap, well, everyone needs soap, but if you make soap, guys, you ain't selling nothing unless your soap does something that no other soap does. It's like that with gaming, and people just don't get it. People just think, oh shit, we'll just throw $1 million at Call of Duty and make money.
Into it. I can't say the same with Back 4 Blood. What are some other examples that illustrate how games have gotten safe? Well,
Pal World. Like they literally just reskinned Pokemon and gave it a twist and it succeeded. Pokerogue. For those of you that don't know what Pokerogue is, it's a browser game that just started up like a week ago or something, and it already had, you know, 100,000 live players on it just because it's a twist to the Pokemon concept. These people, no one gets it. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. If maybe I'm just crazy.
Let me ask you this. Did you think for 1 millisecond that the Modern Warfare 3 remake was going to do the no Russian scene justice? Did you think it was going to be as shocking, if not more so?
No!
You terrorist.
No!
You look like one.
Woo!
No, that didn't look good at all, bro. Okay, let me give you an example. All right, let me give you an example. All right, live player tracker. Let's see Suicide Squad. There we go. Steam charts. That's what I'm talking about. All right, look at this. Look at this. Suicide Squad right now. It's a AAA game, by the way. Suicide Squad. Right now there are 112 people playing Suicide Squad. That's really, really insane. It's not a lot of people playing Suicide Squad, dude. All right, let's compare it to Pokerogue. Pokerogue is a brand new browser game that it looks like shit. It was offline, by the way, all day. All right. It has 15,000 players right now on Pokerogue, like a little browser game that just went online now. Okay. Like, do you recognize what's going on? Like, look at the graphics, bro. Look at this. Look at this game. This is the game that's beating Suicide Squad. You see this? You pick a Pokemon, and then you go, and then you battle, and it's like crazy. Like, this is the game beating this. Guys, do you recognize that?
Oh, give the writers a raise. Of course not. Like, even Call of Duty feels like it's been sterilized. But of course, there's some exceptions with, like, Cold War. I mean, that game took some serious risks with its campaign and story, and it paid off. Gamers love being surprised. We love being thrown for a loop.
Yeah.
Because it's so hard to do now in the age of the internet. And with
I don't agree. I think it's always been equally surprising. Because just like what now, when a game breaks the fourth wall, you're like, okay, it broke the fourth wall. All right, fine. It's boring, right? Breaking the fourth wall is nothing new. But breaking the fourth wall in 2015 was insane. It was an insane idea. Undertale broke the fourth wall. Doki Doki Literature Club broke the fourth wall. And it absolutely blew everyone's minds. Now it's annoying as shit because every game decided to do it. And at the time, no one thought of something like that. So it was original and crazy. You gotta find the new original crazy thing that no one else thought of, because that's how innovation works.
With all these leaks and everything, this is why Helldivers 2's live service is retaining so many players, because
Aged so badly. Oh no, Sony.
there haven't been any roadmaps going into excruciating detail about what to expect.
It's all about democracy, baby!
It's why the redemption of No Man's Sky hit so hard, because Sean and Hello Games just went into hibernation and came out when they had something to show people.
Yeah.
When I say safe, I'm not just
a game needs to be a thought child, not just a fancy skin on an old idea.
talking about the lack of innovation with game design, but also the writing. AAA franchises that used to go really hard with the dialogue now feel tame, like they're pulling punches. I'm not a huge expert on Fallout, so Fallout fans, please correct me in the comments if I'm wrong.
Oh, don't worry, I got you. I've been doing Fallout lore dives for the last 2 weeks, and I know everything there is to know. Okay, I don't know anything about Fallout either. I'm working on it, okay? The lore dive has not yet ended. We're trying.
There is a massive difference between Bethesda's Fallout games and the other Fallout games. In New Vegas, you can literally sell drugs to children. Like that.
Based. Wait, is that cancel? Am I gonna cancel for that? In that case, not based.
That's a real choice you have in the game.
Based as fuck. Bro, you're living in a hellscape, okay? There's no laws out there, bro. You wanna sell drugs to children? You can. Is it ethical? No. But is the option ethical? Yes. Because I believe in free will, ladies and gentlemen.
You can be an absolute maniac.
Yeah!
You can shake down a guy for caps and he'll say,
Oh, yeah.
well, you've taken everything but the clothes off my back. And then you can say, actually, give me your fucking clothes too.
Oh, baby! That's what it's all about. Okay, Aaron? Listen. I want the choice. I believe in the choice, okay? Not that you should make that choice, but the choice is nice.
You know what I mean? Like, for some reason, I just can't picture these types of things being in a new Fallout game. KOTOR 2 is also a fantastic example because I doubt we'll ever see a Star Wars game that takes the franchise in such a bold direction. KOTOR 2 is a Star Wars game where the main villain wants to kill the Force, destroy the Force, like
Based.
remove it from the universe.
Bro literally just wants to kill God. All right, cool.
Destroy the concept of Sith and Jedi completely. There's no way in Nar Shaddaa we'd ever witness a Star Wars game that delves into that sort of thing. According to
Yeah, it's true. Everything became so like basic and I don't know, man. I think it's because I've been recently looking at like different lores for different video games and seeing where they take their ideas. And it's like even something like Fear and Hunger, okay? Fear and Hunger is it's a new indie game. It's like a year old. It's an indie game that people have been playing, but people love it because the lore is fascinating, because the choices that you make actually feel like real choices, because the characters that you make friends with actually fucking die, you know? Like this game is a game that plays with you for, like, it plays with your heart, dude. It's like, there's so much philosophy in that game. It really makes you think and feel. And when's the last time you played a video game that you finished playing the video game and the only thing you could think of is choices you made in that video game? Or what's gonna happen next in that video game? When's the last time something like that happened to you? For me, it's been a very long time.
Obsidian Chris Avalon, one of the main writers for New Vegas and KOTOR 2. Obsidian made multiple proposals to develop spin-offs for Fallout and the Elder Scrolls, all of which were turned down by Bethesda. And while we can only imagine the reason why, perhaps it was too risky in their eyes. Here's another example, Halo Wars 2.
Alright.
Console RTS, pretty niche, but its expansion, Awakening the Nightmare, was the first time in a decade we saw the Flood in a Halo game. Why haven't the Flood appeared in the main series?
Because no one wants to take a risk. Everyone wants to... I feel like I see where he's going with this, and it's actually getting me a little excited that he's bringing this up, sort of. I'm not gonna lie. I think that every game and movie today likes coming up with a plotline that allows a sequel. I feel like there is nothing that happens now that's like a one and done, or that's final in any way. Like, I feel like if they do a Flood in a Halo game, the next game is gonna... They're already thinking, like, how are we gonna top that? Like, how are we gonna go next time? And I feel like everyone's always living in this weird state where they're thinking of the sequel before worrying about the actual game that they're making, if it succeeds or not. No? I don't know. It's wild. But I feel like we do live there a little bit.
Don't want to risk lowering...
Elden Ring was amazing. It was so good. We're getting a DLC, but I don't think they're even planning an Elden Ring 2. Like, they wanted Elden Ring to be as beautiful and complete as possible.
The sales with an M rating, right? M-rated games don't sell too great, do they? Speaking of Rockstar, God, this industry pisses me off sometimes. LA Noire 2.
Oh, no.
Where is it? Bully 2? And you might think, well, isn't that hypocritical, Act-Man? You were just complaining about these companies sticking to established IPs. But both of them...
Dude, as long as it's good. I don't care about established IPs. I just want it to be good. If it's gonna be shit, then yeah, I'm gonna make fun of it. Like, yeah, if Megamind 2 was as good as Puss in Boots' Last Wish, right? I would have obviously hyped the hell out of it. But it was awful. So if it was awful, I'm gonna make fun of it. And yes, I'm gonna call it a cash grab.
These franchises only have one game. And that's kind of my point. Instead of making one, $400 million game, why not cut a chunk of that out and develop multiple AA games?
What if they took one of these $150 million AAA budgets and made a couple of $20 million bets with them, right? And just funded a bunch of projects, and the risk is much smaller. And I think that would be very good for the industry. And I wish AAA would take more risks like that with smaller teams. Then you would get that cohesion. You would
honestly true. That makes sense.
Get that sort of singular vision, I think, and stronger.
I'm just curious though. Do you know who this woman is? Damn. Okay, I mean who this guy is that's talking.
Creativity out of it.
I at least understand this for Rockstar because their games are so overhyped. If they released a sequel that you thought was a 9 out of 10, that would feel disappointing. A bunch of Halo spin-offs were also pitched to leadership at 343, including an ODST-themed game similar to Helldivers 2.
Damn, that would have been so successful. Like, in retrospect, that would have been huge.
Imagine what could have been. I guess I just don't understand why the corporate side of game development treats every title like it has to be an all-in bet. Do you see what I'm getting at? So many of our favorite franchises that we grew to love because of how bold they were are now playing it safe. And that's why indie and AA gaming is thriving right now.
Preach, King. It's all about the indie games because they are made by passion projects. Because the people that actually have the funding, well, they don't want to take a risk. You're not putting $300 million into a risk, especially because the money is coming from a place that doesn't actually have passion for the games, but just has passion for the investment. I know that's kind of a sad, morbid look at it, but the passion is the making money. So if that's the passion, and they have no idea if a game is a good idea or not a good idea, so why the hell are they going to spend $300 million on Among Us?
Because they can take risks. They're not obsessing over how many people are going to buy the game. The developers of Palworld were like, well, hope this doesn't make us go bankrupt. Indie studios are operating at the level that AAA used to. And when you don't have to make hundreds of millions of dollars to keep your company afloat and not fire your entire studio,
damn,
you can take risks. And going back to my initial comparison
Man,
between
spitting, though.
Arrowhead and Ubisoft, there's a huge difference in the mission statements of AAA and indie games.
Okay.
Baldur's Gate 3
Dude, because AAA games don't want to get canceled on Twitter. They somehow think that matters.
is an indie game. Larian is an independent studio, but the quality is so amazing, you'd assume it's AAA, right? There's this trend of indie developers reassuring customers that they're not gonna nickel and dime us. No, there are no in-game purchases in our game. We believe in providing a complete and immersive gaming experience without the need for additional purchases. Vermintide 2 is one of
It's
the
because the people that make indie games are people that love video games, not people that just want to make money on it. So yes, they don't really do the in-game purchase shtick because they, as a gamer, know how annoying that is. Literally, they know how annoying it is.
only games to do loot boxes right because they didn't sell them. At the height of the loot box craze, no less. Helldivers 2 doesn't let you pay for tiers in the freedom passes. Indie developers can afford to be more player friendly because they don't have these investors.
And because they're players. I think that's the major point here for me at least. You're right, because you're right. Obviously they have billions of dollars that they want to make sure that they're not losing all their money on a game, right? So they're not going to nickel and dime you. But they are actual people that play video games. They're not doing it as a business. No one starts making video games as an investment. They started out of passion.
Hanging over their heads and these massive budgets. You might think all these egregious microtransactions is just pure corporate greed, and there's a good chance some of it is, but it's also a safeguard, like a necessity. And I think the solution...
I don't know if it's a necessity. A good game will make you your money back, though. Like, even without it.
Is just to make games smaller, dude. Now, a really shitty byproduct of this risk-averse mentality is that a lot of these publishers are looking for a quick buck. They want to make easy money, so what do?
They make a new Call of Duty.
Bingo! Flood the market with shitty remasters. Boy, there's been an abundance of these lately. The Last of Us 1 on PC, GTA Trilogy.
Oh my god, no, it's the same.
Shit. Here we go again.
Hell, even Dark Souls Remastered
I was gonna mention.
sucked major ass.
Did it though? I feel like Dark Souls Remastered wasn't bad. I feel like it should have been a lot better, but I feel like it wasn't bad.
And don't even get me started on the fucking Battlefront collection. Did you know that at one point Warcraft 3 Reforged had like 3 people working on it? Like one guy was supposed to remake all of the cutscenes. And this is so perplexing. These studios dump 10 figures into a new game, but can't even hire 10 people to make a decent remaster.
It's crazy, because remasters make so much money.
It's like there's no middle ground. It's either no budget or dump the bank account. Meanwhile, Lethal Company, made by one guy. Now because studio...
There we go. Lethal Company outsold Call of Duty. I feel like that says so much.
Studios are investing so much, they tend to interfere with the creative process to insane degrees.
Yeah. How much of a budget went into freaking Sweet Baby Inc. and Gamer X to add, pay them money to add inclusivity to your game? Like, what is that? That is like some financial domination kink going on. That's some FinDom shit. Can you explain to me why there's an actual budget that goes towards people trying to make your game less enjoyable?
They see trends that are making money elsewhere, and they think, well, let's just throw that into our game. I'm funding this. What I say goes. Redfall lost 70% of its arcane staff during development, struggled the whole way. Development of Redfall began in 2018 as parent ZeniMax was quietly looking to sell itself and was encouraging its studios to create games as a service projects like Overwatch.
Good. When they say, all right, so that game's successful, please make that game just for us now.
Microtransactions were intensely encouraged. However, the problems in trying to develop Redfall surfaced early. Firstly, management kept offering conflicting visions of what the game would and should be, resulting in developer confusion about what they were creating. How to reconcile single player and multiplayer within an Arcane game was never really resolved either. Secondly, Arcane employed fewer than 100 people, which had been enough to make a single player game, but was not a healthy number for developing a large multiplayer game with microtransactions to manage. Outsourcing work to other studios was reportedly not enough to alleviate the strain.
This is so sad. This is a nightmare.
As a result of plummeting morale and lack of direction, veteran employees left the company. in droves, with about 70% of the staff ultimately...
Dude, every time I see this shit, I just think to myself how lucky I am that I'm self-employed. I'm so lucky that all of my businesses I run myself, you know, or at least I don't just sit here and be like, need investors to rule my life. And they're like, oh, did you get the go ahead from Sweet Baby Inc? Are you sure that you have enough gay scenes in your video game? I'm just making a game that I want people to like. I'll have gay scenes if I think it actually fits in the video game.
Leaving Arcane. Redfall is not the only story of its kind. You can look at most AAA flops or AAA games that severely disappointed, and you'll find something similar. Management interfered. Management wanted this. I imagine they feel they have to...
That is such an awful response. It's such a bad answer. Management decided that we have to do this. Ah!
Micromanage.
Management has no idea what they're doing. Management just gave you money to make a game. And be safe about it. This is Niji Sanji all over again.
These things. Again, because of the investment. Sometimes with AAA games, it feels like there's too many cooks in the kitchen. And Gordon Ramsay is pissed.
What are you? An idiot sandwich.
There's gotta be a happy...
I love how he shows Ackman videos. You can always expect to see like famous meme clips from 5 years earlier. It's awesome.
Middle ground in dev team size. Too small and you feel like the world rests on your shoulders. Too big and you feel like you have zero agency and influence. These big dev teams, especially when they're spread out against multiple studios across the country, can sometimes have very inefficient communication.
Yeah.
Bureaucracy. Next Battlefield has the largest development team so far.
Oh my god, why are they doing this? If the last one failed, the answer isn't put more money into it. Oh my god, it's changed something. Dude, how are people like this? How are people like this?
1 year later, former DICE dev says 2042 never stood much chance being great at launch. There's a video by Timothy Kane, the creator of the original Fallout, about game development caution. And he talks about how certain things in game development now that could be fixed in 45 minutes now take 4 weeks.
What?
When we were making the Outer Worlds, the combat AI wasn't really in yet, so I asked for a very simple combat aggression code to be added. This is how simple it was. Every time an NPC got shot, they would see if that person was on the list of someone who'd shot them.
Okay.
If they weren't, they'd add them to the list with the amount of damage they just took. If they were already on the list, they'd just add the amount of damage they took.
Seems pretty
Whenever
basic.
they're deciding who to attack, they attack the person at the top of the list. That's it.
That's
That's
basic.
all I wanted. The
basic.
programmer who it got signed to came to me and said, I need 4 weeks. And I'm like, why? Walk me through what you're going to do. And he goes, you don't understand. And I was like, I've coded this 3 times. Walk me through it. And he wouldn't. He left. He left angry. Lead programmer came back, started yelling at me, saying, if he says he needs 4 weeks, he needs 4 weeks. And I'm like, then I will do it. I'll have it done before lunch. And he said, no, because then people will have to support your code.
Oh my god, dude, that's a nightmare.
I'm like, I'm going to walk you through what I want. And you tell me why this takes 4 weeks. He looked at what I wrote, which was about 10 lines of pseudocode on a whiteboard. And he goes, I'll come back. He came back about an hour later and said, what about 2 weeks? And I said, do I have any options here? Fine. 2 weeks.
You want to fix these lines?
What? Oh my god, bro. That's awful. Awful. But everything that has these millions of employees is gonna end up going that way. You are wasting money and time for nothing.
Lines of code? That decision has to go through 10 fucking departments now. It needs to be approved by your manager, by your...
What's hilarious is that, yes, you need it to be approved by your manager's manager's manager, by the focus group that watches the focus group managing your manager. You need 4 weeks on 10 lines of code to go through all the approval processes. And you know the kicker? They don't even test to make sure their game works before launching it. The games don't work. Can you explain to me why? Why is it that old games actually worked? Because the people actually played the games before just releasing them. Did you see what happened with Cyberpunk? The game was literally unplayable on release, but they released it anyway. They're bureaucrats. I don't respect them.
Manager's manager. It has to go through the marketing team, the DEI office. The fucking janitor's cousin has to approve it.
The IRS needs to take their taste out of it first. We need to make sure it's okay by Sweet Baby Inc. for 2.
Indie developers don't have the same level of bureaucracy. I imagine if there's a problem with the code, you could just walk over to the cubicle at Jimbo and ask him about it without the fucking HR department breathing down your neck. And you also have to make games that can be released in China. You need that China money. It has to hit certain quotas and scores on diversity, equity, and inclusion to secure funding. And the game needs to have microtransactions for this consistent revenue source, a live service business model, so that makes the investors happy.
Yeah.
And can you see how creativity dies in this environment?
Yes, it's all dead. It all becomes pasteurized garbage.
When games are made by committee and not creativity. It also seems like the more employees a company has, the easier it is for you to blend in and not be seen or heard. Indie studios typically have better working conditions with flexible hours.
Is that a Blizzard reference?
Employees have more creative control. Smaller teams allow the individual to have more influence on a game and a greater impact. I've seen a lot of articles from ex-developers who say, this game wasn't what we intended to make. It wasn't what we envisioned.
How is that even possible? How do you go in there with a vision and end up with a different fucking game?
Disagreements are going to spring up in game development, but it's easier to settle an argument between two people than it is 100. At the end of the day, indie gaming has risen where AAA has fallen. The decline of AAA gaming is due to the insane budgets, scope, and expectations of these games. How that affects...
And I think the lack of passion. I don't know why. I feel like that, for me personally, I would have made that a much more major point in my video, personally. That the passion for making indie games is much better because the people that are making them are actually, you know, gamers.
Affects the employees, the work environment, the investors and higher-ups who have to constantly micromanage these games and throw in their own ideas when they have no fucking clue what makes a good video game.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of these developers simply don't have the same luxuries and freedom to create art like they used to.
Yeah.
Game development in the
I mentioned that earlier. Real.
AAA space is now a committee process where simple solutions to bugs can take weeks, where the freedom to express and create art and take risks is suppressed in favor of creating the generic and the safe. Too many external factors have disrupted what used to be a creative process with the singular goal of making the best and most fun video game possible.
I mean, again, it's soulless. it's because there's no soul in it anymore. It became a new investment opportunity. It got Disneyfied, and anything that gets this big is gonna become soulless in one way or another. I'm just waiting for the AI generated games. Like, you're gonna get AI is gonna be advanced enough to just completely generate games. That's gonna happen. Like, this isn't a question. It's just a question of, it's not a question of if, it's a question of when. It's inevitable that AI is gonna get good enough that you'll put in your request, please make me a Call of Duty knockoff, except add sex jokes. And they will literally have that. It'll exist, and the AI will just shit that out. It'll be a complete soulless garbage, but it's inevitable that it will be real. We're living in a world of corporatized everything, where art is born to die. That's why I love YouTubers over news outlets. That's why I prefer getting my, watching a review from a YouTuber instead of a soulless game journalist, you know? That's why I love the people instead of loving the company. I like something that has a soul.
It ain't about that no more. This shit has to make money, and a lot of it. And it's for all these reasons that AAA gaming is declining.
The only good thing about these AAA games is that sooner or later they will all end up on the couch with Bao. Every game will have a character that could be on the Bao couch. Oh, you're not familiar with the Bao couch? The Bao couch is what you see exhibited here in this thumbnail. It's the couch of the Bao couch. You know, the Bao couch. The Bao couch. We'll get some more of these guys. But aside from that, bro.
And why indie titles are thriving. But what do you think? What are some of your favorite indie games? Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments below.
My thoughts and opinions are the things that I've said for the last probably hour and a half because of the amount of constructive criticism and commentary that I add to shit. Best indie games, top 5 indie games. Top 2 indie game. Top indie game, Undertale. Undertale's the best game. It's the best game. I love Undertale. It's awesome. I love Undertale. Literally the GOAT. Deltarune, Hades, Doki Doki Literature Club, Hollow Knight. I think that started as an indie game. I don't know, man. Undertale was given to the Pope for a reason. If you made it to the end, click one of these 2 videos, which also will definitely get me canceled. See you live on Kick. Stay weird, fam.